Sorry.
You're good. My very good friend Michael Wells is about to get married, and so I thought I should sit him down for a conversation before his big day. We talk about how he met his fiance, the journey that led them to becoming romantically partnered, and his feelings just ahead of getting married. We also discuss all of this within the context of the ongoing attacks on gay marriage and gay people that we've been dealing with for our entire lives. We deconstruct it all, talk through it, and just enjoy a really great conversation between friends.
Well, this is a really easy chat today. We're talking about us. We're talking about marriage. We're talking about love. Very low stakes, except for the actual political stakes that are raging all around us. Except for those.
Sure. Except for our marriage being under attack.
I mean, it's just been the reality of our existence for the whole time that we've been.
It really has.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like actually relatively new to me to be able to get married. I distinctly remember when I was first given that right, because I was living in New York City and I went to Stonewall.
Well, let's just jump in. Tell me about how you first learned about gay marriage. How did you? what were you drinking at Stonewall when you learned that you were? When it was like, oh, I could get married now.
Don't remember what I was drinking. I do remember being in the streets with like a million people, and we like ran down there. And I think Will and I were living together at the time, and he has like the newspaper from it still, which is cool. Oh. Or maybe he threw it away. I don't know. He had it.
Yeah.
But it's important to note that I think, and it informs me as like a person in a gay relationship now, is that up until that moment, it had never occurred to me that it was even on the table to be married. So it was never a possibility. Like I'd entertained the idea of maybe finding love, but because marriage was off the table, there was almost this message, and I think a lot of queer people feel this sentiment of like, maybe we're not worthy of finding a partner at all or finding love because we're not allowed to be married, because we're not allowed to have, what's considered by society to be like the end all be all of a relationship, a married relationship. Because that wasn't on the table, I kind of never entertained deeper relationships with people as something that would happen for me. So
that's interesting. I think there were I want to say there was this conversation about like domestic partnerships and like civil unions, and other countries were taking steps in different directions. And so collectively around the globe, we were all just trying to figure out what we're going to do. Is it going to be marriage? I don't know. What does the Pope think? And
well, and I still know a lot of queer people that don't want to be the title of married because of, it's like, well, that's a Christian straight people thing. Like, and I do not exist in that world. We are together, and I don't need, the approval of other people for my relationship.
You're like, I really just want the legal rights and tax deductions. I don't need the blessing.
Okay.
Don't spritz me with any water.
I definitely don't need that. It'll burn. I don't know that it's helping me for tax or insurance reasons at all.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I make so little money on paper. I get covered California, so how Californians have health insurance if you don't make a lot of money. So I don't pay very much for health insurance because I don't make very much money. And then I also don't make very much money on paper, so my taxes aren't really that intense. And so meanwhile, my partner is the opposite of all those things.
He's doing very well for himself.
He's doing just great. Really proud of him. But I think, if we filed jointly, it would put me in a totally different tax bracket, and the CIA might really be onto me, or IRS.
It is telling that the Supreme Court case that got us the right to marry in the United States was all about taxes, and who pays what and how much. And as I recall, you are interested in owning businesses, maybe one or more businesses. And there are, once you get married, your finances can be together or they can be separate. There's like a married filing separate option.
Yes.
But if you
Yeah.
decide to file jointly and you've got a bunch of losses in the business, those can get carried over into your joint finances. So get a good accountant.
Oh.
Marriage advice number 1: get a good accountant to help you figure out.
You would know. It's funny you say that because I would love a gay accountant. I did start a business this year. I do own a business, and that business has lost money this year. So, but it's not like we lost tens of thousands of dollars. We we spent $10,000 planning a trip to Europe that is on hold.
Yeah, lots of businesses lose money for many years before they start making money, and those losses can be carried over, or what have you. But there's a lot of stuff that you're going to be able to do that you couldn't do before, which will be fun to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who would know a lot about this? My partner, David. The finance man in my life.
Oh, that's really nice. So let's go back. Were you looking for a long-term relationship when you met David?
Absolutely not. In the broader scheme of things, yes. I think, like, for context, Obergefell v. Hodges, which is the Supreme Court case you're referencing, which, a quick aside, Jim Obergefell and I have become very good friends over the last couple of years.
No.
And so we're like cool. He owns a wine brand in Guerneville where we're getting married. And I know Jim quite well. And it's funny to talk to him about the attack on the Defense of Marriage Act. And like, he's like, you mean my Supreme Court case is now being talked about again? like, am I going to have to go testify again? Which is a whole other story. His story is really beautiful. Anyways, no, wasn't looking for a relationship. When Obergefell v. Hodges was ruled, I just moved to New York City. I was definitely trying to date in New York, and I was failing miserably. But I think there's a lot of factors to that. Namely, I was in my early 20s, and I was in a very different chapter of my life. I was partying a lot, but also really focused on my dance career at the time and my wine career. And so, yes, I was going on dates with people, but they weren't really going anywhere. And then furthermore, most people don't move to New York City to find love. They move to New York City to focus on themselves, to focus on their career, to party, to enjoy life. They're not really looking for the forever person in New York. So then I moved to San Francisco for a job, and moved in July of 2016. And then David and I met on Tinder in October of 2016. And he loves to make fun of me because my Tinder profile was like, I was not looking to date people. I was kind of just looking to be a little promiscuous in San Francisco. So I'm like shirtless in a lot of them. One of the photos is actually in your living room, and it's that Speedo party we had on like a Monday night.
Oh, you're in the green Speedos?
Yes. Yeah. That was in my Tinder profile, and it got me a man. So
wonderful.
Thanks for throwing that party, Jerome. You never know. So I was like, I was just looking like, can I cuss on this podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Like an F boy, like a fuck boy, to use that phrase. That's kind of the energy I was giving off. And so David bit. He was like, yeah, okay. And then, I think that's also why it worked out, is because neither of us were looking for anything. He had just gotten out of a relationship himself. And was also looking to kind of be promiscuous, and that was not in the cards for either of us. So
yeah, you both failed at being promiscuous with each other. At least at first. I don't want to dwell on it, but I do enjoy that we had the party at my house with the photo they used in Tinder, but you had already moved to New York and then to San Francisco, so you were using old photos.
Yep. So and that checks out today still.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I feel like I look the same.
You're like, no one has complained about it, so it's great.
No one's accused me of catfishing. Yes, guilty as charged. A lot of my photos. Well, I just moved okay, the Speedo photo I don't have an excuse for because I lived in New York City for like 4.5 years at
Yeah.
that point. So
Yeah.
okay, the other ones were more recent, but that was I don't know. It made me look like
you
a
met up.
fun
Do you remember what
guy.
your date was? Your first date, or was it
Yeah,
just sex?
absolutely. It was okay. It was at a bar called El Rio, which is in the Mission, where we still live today. And it's a cool kind of like I don't want to say hipster, but it's like it's the cool gays, like and not in like a like A-list gays, but like the like we fight for rights of people kind
Oh,
of bar.
wonderful.
And like like it's like you're cool if you go there. You
Yeah.
dress fashionably if you go there. But we went on an off night. So there was like it was like very chill. I remember there was little like heating lamps and a cat that was sitting underneath the heating lamp on like the railing next to a table. And so we sat at this table and like drank beers and I pet a cat
I
for
was
the
like, you for
entire
sure petted
date.
that cat.
The whole time. Like this date could suck, but at least there's a cat here. And I still make fun of David to this day because the first thing out of his mouth was, so you can see I'm not a 10,000-year-old demon now. And I was like, what?
What?
Like, this is a first date. And that was the first thing that you're going to say to me is that, see, I'm not a 10,000-year-old demon.
I swear.
Great. Yeah. Well, I wasn't worried about it yet. And I am now. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, weird.
The whole thing was just not prescribed, not to plan, not your typical date, not we didn't even get food, we just like grabbed beers and yeah.
Okay, so wait, I'm a little confused then about the trajectory that got you from the first date, not a demon, petting a cat, up to marriage. You know what I mean? Like, what did he do,
Sure.
or what did you do that sparked romantic interest? Because so far, I'm not hearing any of that on this date. Maybe it was date number
And
2.
again, we weren't looking for it. We were just sort of like, oh, you're cute, like we hooked up that night and then
It was the
like
sex. Yeah, it was
it
the
was
sex that did it.
the sex was good. Separately, David's really hot, but that's not really it. Like like I think you could finding friends with benefits and like sex is easy to find. Like relationships are much harder. I think at first we were both sticking to the plan of like we are not looking to date. That was us meeting each other to see if we wanted to have some sort of physical relationship, and we do, and we did that for like a couple weeks. I think it's also important to note that I had just moved to San Francisco, and David is born and raised in the Bay Area and is very, very proud of the Bay Area and California in general. And he gets very excited to like show people around and share things. And so I was so new and he like knew all the spots. And so it was like, he sort of became my little tour guide of California. And I
Yeah.
think that is how our relationship became so much deeper, is that he started sharing places that he liked to go to growing up, and places that meant a lot to him he would share with me, and we'd go and spend a weekend, go camping there, or like go to that restaurant, or hike around in Livermore where he's from.
We
And I
have an
think
intersection here
oh yeah
because everyone on this podcast knows I'm married. Been married for a minute now. Been with Aaron for a long time. And the way I met Aaron was through deception. So that's not the intersection. I was here. I moved to Minnesota because if you recall, Peter was here and sober.
Oh my God, that's right. I was trying to put it all together. Yes, please.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And so I was sober, like
Uh-huh.
being a solid boyfriend. And then he fell off the wagon and started drinking without me and lied about it. And I was like, I'm out, girl. Cause I could stop at any time. If you want to drink, we could drink together. And I could like stop you, but he wasn't interested in that kind of life. You know what I mean? So I left. And then I went to a bar and Aaron saw me there and pretended like he did not know who I was. Because we were both working at Best Buy's corporate office at the time, and I did not like my job. So I was always getting coffee at the coffee shop, and he'd seen me, and he told his coworkers about me, and they were reporting back on my movements in the in the place.
Oh.
He was telling people that I was his
Not
husband. It was the whole thing.
reconnaissance.
Yes. And so when he met me at the bar, he was like, "You look familiar." I was like, "I could not possibly. I've done nothing since I've been here. I've been here for like a couple of months. I haven't been out, you know,
And you were in a relationship.
and in a relationship of all things." Um, but I was not that day. Boop. Um, and so we
I
started making out
completely
in the
forgot
bar.
about the Peter aspect to this.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But we're making out in the
Mhm.
bar. We get together the next day.
You and Aaron.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we probably would have gone home together that night, but he was with two other friends. So they pulled him away. But we met up the next day, and we've just like continued to meet up ever since. But I was new
Okay,
here
well,
and new to the
was
scene.
yours
So
a
he
friends
was
with
showing me
benefit thing?
around. I mean, we were just like a couple of lesbians, frankly. But I think the
Okay.
intersection was
You hold.
being new people in a new place, meeting someone with roots in the region that was just like really interested in showing us around, and like they're like, "This is home now. Let me show off everything that there is to see. Don't move again. Please don't leave. We just found each other."
You know what? Do you think if somebody, and because this happened all the time when we lived in Atlanta, is that people would move to Atlanta and we would show them around,
Yes.
and yet nobody fell in love with us. Like, you and I were single for pretty much the whole time I knew you in Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, except for Peter.
And except for Peter.
Except for Peter for me. Yeah, but then he moved away before. And that's probably after he moved is probably when we started hanging out as friends, because it like freed up so much time, you know.
Mm-hmm. Peter was definitely out of the picture when we were debaucherous,
painting the town red when we were the 10,000-year-old demons of Atlanta.
You know, I'm sure people think of us as such, and then like, I don't think either of us have aged very much since Atlanta. I think it's just corroborating that statement. It's like, oh, they actually were eating our souls.
I feel like we're both aging very well. We have matured a lot since then, though.
Yes,
I would say.
Seen some stuff.
And you know, even if I look kind of similar, I fell asleep weird the other day, and now I'm like, oh god.
Yeah,
it's been a while. Am I ever going to recover?
No, you'll never sleep the same again. Yeah, I got roped into a dance performance last weekend, and
I was wondering
my
about
knees
that.
are really angry right now. Yeah, I danced.
I'm sorry about your bones.
Yeah, well, there's a reason I retired.
Okay. David's showing you around. It's wonderful. How did you make the transition from maybe I'm not just looking for like a regular hookup to, oh, I think we are something real? Like what? Oh, maybe more fun. What were the green flags that you saw for David?
Green flags. Okay. A couple things come to mind that feel relevant here, which is first, the longest relationship I had before David was 9 months long, great guy in New York City. And I pursued a relationship with him because I was getting so many green flags on who he was as a person on paper. And I thought that that would translate into us being a really happy couple. And again, like, I was so naive, like I had never felt real love for someone, and I had never like had strong relationships. And so I don't know, I was just like, maybe this will work. And so we dated for a while, and it was a little fraught because I think he maybe liked me more than I liked him. But I was trying to like make feelings happen because he was so great, and he is still a really great person. So then meeting David, at the time he was working at a nonprofit, and so it wasn't like a money thing, because I think I was likely making more money than he was because I was working for a dance company and bartending in a restaurant every single night. And so like we were on the same pay scale. But I think what attracted me to him is that he was so different than who I was as a person. And he had a very different background and he had different aspirations for himself than I ever had. He was, I think, pretty typical, like in terms of his career path and, like goals. He had a good head on his shoulders and still does. And like that, I think I sort of felt like I needed in my life, and maybe I did, is that to have someone that saw beyond just the immediate, like, let's have a good time, and like, who needs a savings account? And, like, I was living fast and loose for sure. And I was about to say conservative. He's not conservative anyway, but maybe financially, but like, he just had, he just felt like he knew things that I didn't know, and vice versa. Like, I knew this whole world of arts and gay culture that he didn't really know anything about either. It's important to note. He came out at 22 or 24 and we started dating around then. So like I knew a whole world he didn't know, and vice versa. Like, he knew a lot more about, I think, like the heteronormative career corporate world that I knew nothing about. I remember on our first date, he was like, what are the 3 branches of government? And I was like, I was like, this is not the kind of conversation me and my friends have. So,
are you talking to me or the cat? Because,
but yeah,
neither of us.
This cat doesn't know anything about government. Yeah.
Was
and
he
if you know
assessing
David, like,
you? Was he like giving?
Yes, that was a test, and I failed. And it's so funny to think now, because I'm a very political person. I think it's because I'm dating David, and who is he knows a lot about, especially local politics and like housing development.
But that was a difference. I think
I think it was a bit of yin to the yang kind of moment.
100% agree. For some reason, and I guess I don't have any data to back this up, but anecdotally, I feel like people in the queer community seem really drawn to like themselves, or maybe there's like this narcissism. You heard about the gays who look like each other, and they like have to agree all the time, and they have the same philosophies. And to me, it just seems very boring and like disinteresting. Yeah. And scary. Like, I don't need any more Jeromes. One Jerome is enough Jeromes.
I don't think anyone can take another one.
Yeah, we don't need that.
No.
Times being what they are. we can only deal with one.
Yeah.
And so I think being able to appreciate the differences that you can see in other people and like explore them and like being curious and finding them interesting can lead you to really interesting romantic results in general. And I think maybe for you, it just happened to lead to, instead of, one more person in your roster, like a long-term romantic partner, just like it did with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Aaron was definitely just going to be like part of the harem, It turns out.
Sure. Yeah, and I definitely thought David was going to be some guy that I just hooked up with sometimes, and yeah, I think he surprised me in what he brought to my life that I didn't. Kismet, I think I'm using this term correctly, is like something that you didn't realize you needed, but you need. Yeah, it felt like that. Like, I didn't realize the course correction he would do to my life that would put me in such a much better place. I don't mean just like, I mean like socially, financially, emotionally, like career, like it's put me in a place in this life that I never really saw for myself, but he saw for me.
Yeah.
Which is very nice. One thing I feel is important to bring up is that the first time I asked him to be my boyfriend, he said no. And I know. But in his defense, it was too early. I guess I asked him around like Christmas.
Okay.
And he was like, no. We met in October. We had started sort of dating, like going back and forth. He was living in Oakland. I was living in San Francisco. And so going back and forth, which for New York City, that's like Brooklyn. It's like far away. Oh. It's a big commitment to date someone in a different borough.
Okay.
And so like but we were doing it, and it was working. It was a little exhausting because I would have to like wake up really early and then get back on the train and then go to dance and then yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'm tempted to tell another tangential story, but I'll stop. But in February on Valentine's Day, at that point we're like spending Valentine's Day together, and we're
Yeah.
like we had another 2 months of dating had happened now, and then it was like it had gotten to the point on Valentine's Day that like it's like okay, well now we just need to ask the question again, and so I was like, well, are we together now? And so on Valentine's Day, he said that we could be boyfriends.
I'm
Um,
surprised you didn't make him ask. You're like, I asked once, and I'll just be
so
waiting.
that is you know me so well because that is me, and I did that with engagement. I was like, it's his turn. And like there were all these like moments, like we were in Italy together, the Cinque Terre, and I was like, this is when he's going to ask me, and I'm not asking him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like we came back from that Italian trip, and my girlfriend Jackie was like, why didn't you ask Michael to marry you? And David was like, I don't know, like he could have asked me. And she was like, because he asked you to be a boyfriend. It's now your turn. Like she like had my back on it. So yes.
Jackie is fabulous.
Yes.
I just met her for the first time 2 months ago ish.
Yeah.
And she is like such a real one. Obsessed with her in general. Love that she's in your life. Like,
She's fun.
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my girl.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's your girl. And I'm glad she went to bat for you. I guess we may as well continue the story. Like, when did he actually propose then? And how?
Okay. So when did we get engaged? Like 2 years ago.
You're like, I should know this.
I'm like, whoa.
I have a
It's been
wedding
so
coming
long.
up. People are going to ask me
I
about
know.
this.
I think it's been almost 2 years of being engaged. It's like a year and a half now.
Okay.
And it's similar to, David showing me California, a place that has become really important to us as a couple, but was very important to him as he has memories going there as a kid with his family, is the town of Mendocino, which is on the coast of the Pacific Ocean. It's really gorgeous. It's in Northern California. It's very foggy and romantic. It's where Murder, She Wrote was filmed. And it's
was
cute,
it?
quaint. Yeah, it's a really cute little town.
I thought it was on the East Coast, so I'm shocked.
I think it takes place like in the story
but it was filmed
elsewhere.
there. Sure.
But it's filmed in Mendocino. Yeah. It's a
Cabot
cute little
Cove.
Town.
That's the name of the
Yes,
place.
yes, Cabot Cove. Wow. So that's actually that's like the Bay of Mendocino.
Cool.
Yeah. So we had been going there as a couple times now. We had some really cute little romantic vacations there, and I really enjoyed it over the years. And then we had come back from Italy where I was certain he was going to propose to me, and it did not happen. But I didn't say anything. I didn't bring it up. We had both, I think at a certain point it's agreed upon that it would be acceptable to propose. When we had been together for like 8 years at that point. So it's like,
yeah,
we knew that we would be interested in getting married at some point. It's more of a matter of when at this point. And so, so then we drove to Mendocino, and it's literally always foggy and raining there. That's kind of just the vibe of Mendocino. But for some reason that day, it was stunningly gorgeous, clear, crystal blue skies, and like the water was calm. So you could like see down to the bottom of the bay, which is, I've never seen it like this. And there's like kelp forests and like things to like see fish and stuff. And like, I've just never seen Mendocino look like that. It was very magical. And then he asked me to marry him on the cliffs of Mendocino.
Did you know that he was going to ask you that day?
No, because even like the
very
trip,
surprised in the photos.
I was the trip. Thank you. The trip was, it was really obvious that this trip was a very romantic trip. David's also a really romantic person, so like I don't think like it could have just been a romantic trip, and I was not about to get engaged. but I don't know, something energetically about the trip felt like this could have been the moment. And I think because of Italy, like I didn't want to get my hopes up or anything and just be like, I'm getting engaged this weekend.
Yeah,
So I played
yeah.
it cool, and I kind of purposely allowed myself to be ignorant, which I thought was a good idea because then it allowed me to feel genuine feelings
Hmm.
about, yeah, I mean, like, whoa, when somebody asks you to marry them. Did you ask Aaron? Did Aaron ask you?
Oh, great question. I first asked Aaron um, in a moment that he did not like. So yeah, it was shortly after like a political
Oh my God.
event. Yeah. During the election, during my first run for office, it was my big first event. It went really well. I was really excited. We got home. I was like, this feels like a really good time to ask you this question. And he was like, it's a really good time for you, but maybe not for us. And
Oh,
so it was like not a no, but like a not here and not now. Um,
wow.
which sounds very mature until you hear the rest of it, where he was like, "Well, we need to take some kind of a trip, so let's go to Australia. Let's go to Bondi
Hmm.
Beach, and like there on the waters of Bondi Beach, that'll be the right place, right time." I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. Like if that's what you need." I love the beach. We can
Wherever
go
you
to the
need this to
beach.
happen.
You've got your own needs. I appreciate it. You've got a vision. The vision doesn't make any sense to me, but no problem making that a reality. And so, like, literally, he like, turned to me midway through and was like, "Do you want to get married?" And I had to bite back the snark to be like, "What do you think I'm doing here? Like, why?" Like, I'm
Why
in
do
the
you
middle
think
of
we
a political
flew to
campaign.
Australia?
You know what I mean? Like, I am running for office right now. Of course, I said yes. We had a great rest of the day. We went and we got like beers and like fries and stuff at the bar down the street. It was like very low key and very like
Huh,
Aaron's vibe
okay.
for what he wants, which was absolutely fine. I'm like, let's just like dot the I and cross the T, get this done.
Yeah.
Because once you like, we love each other. We love each other. We're not going anywhere. The, no longer is the harem an option. Really, like we're doing it.
Is it?
And like taking it back to the taxes, it did make sense for us to figure to financially like figure out what we were going to do together because we were buying properties together at
Hmm.
that time. Um, and it would just make things a lot easier if we merged our finances legally. And so it just checked a lot of boxes for us to get married at the time, rather to get engaged at the time. The trouble with the marriage was the pandemic because we went to Australia in, I want to say, January of 2020. And on the
Oh,
way over, all of the Asian people are wearing masks. And we're sitting there like sipping our champagne on vacation. Like, what's happening?
hmm, hmm, hmm. Such an acute time in all
It
of our
really, really
lives
is.
before the storm.
And so we kind of thought it was gonna either pass over or be a really big deal. And when we got married in October of 2020, it did not seem as though it was going to pass over anytime soon. And so rather than have the big wedding like you're doing, which did not even seem possible, you know what I mean? Like very much like going from, well, gay marriage isn't even a possibility to, well, now on a human level, like large gatherings of people,
Gathering is
literally
not a
illegal,
possibility.
you know? So let's just get this thing done. And we had, a lovely 7, 8 person wedding in a courtyard. We had at a park. We had pizza. We had a bunch of booze. I had a good time.
Cute.
Um, you were doing something a little different.
It's funny, your elopement feels very almost pragmatic because you're like, oh, well, the taxes and the time is right. And
Yeah.
we just needed to do the wedding anyways. So we just did a small little COVID wedding. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very a means to an end with clear goals. Um, yeah, we're having a big wedding.
You're having a big ass wedding.
And again, not something I knew I ever wanted. Um, Never pictured this for myself. It is easily the biggest wedding that has happened on either side of my family in any recent memory. Um,
In our friend group, I think it's the biggest.
well, Joey and Ryan had a really big one in Atlanta.
Oh, that's true. And I haven't experienced yours yet, but I think the number of people when I go down the list looks larger.
Theirs was bigger,
Okay.
but it's not about that.
You're like, we've compared some numbers, and that's
You just become very acutely aware of the size of things when you start planning these things. Ours is going to likely land around 150 people, which when you're planning a wedding and you start talking to venues, that actually does not feel like a lot of people, because that's just the way that wedding venues talk to you. Is they're like, oh, like less than 100, around 50, or is this like 150? Is it over 150? And they have like tiers of pricing for all of these things. And it feels very like, oh, you just pick one. And 150 is always the one that feels like the normal one. And then you're like, oh yeah, we're 150 people, as we like talk to wedding venues. And then you start planning 150 people and you're like, oh my God, that's like, so we have to rent a bathroom. We had to rent a shuttle bus because there's not enough parking at the venue for the 150 cars. And like, it's so many things that like that many people is actually a lot of people. Yeah.
I was never
like,
under the thought that it was not a lot of people. But one thing that I'm getting a lot of amusement out of is that, like, as we've talked over the course of this process, is the number has progressively gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. So you're like, 150 is so many people. I'm like, well, about a year and a half ago, the number was much bigger.
We invited 180.
Oh, that's good. For some reason, I thought it was like 230 or something.
Absolutely not. There were that many people on a list. Here's the thing, like, you put a spreadsheet down and you start writing down every person in your life on a spreadsheet that could potentially be invited to this wedding, or maybe should be, or X, Y, and like name a reason they should be invited. The list gets big very quickly. And one thing I've had to learn in this process is just kind of letting go, and like, whoever shows up is going to be there, and whoever didn't get an invite isn't going to. It's just, I'm sorry, it's 6 weeks out. Like, so that being said, there are some people that I'm like, why did I not invite them? And other people where I'm like, why did I invite you? But like at the time it felt right. And so
you're
I'm
like,
just
it's
gonna,
too late.
You're coming. Great. RSVP'd, yes. Oh, you want a +1 too now? Okay. Person that I don't think should be at my wedding. But then there's like other people that like, I'm like, oh shoot, I completely forgot about them. And it's not like I was thinking of so many other people.
Yeah, there was a time when you were making a list.
Yeah. It's just harder than you expect it to be. And like, I at first got really insecure because like Will and my mom both were like, why did you invite this person? Why did you not invite this person? And I'm like, I don't know. You need to put a list together, and these are the people that made it on the list. So I don't know. It's going to be great. And that's kind of where I've landed on it, is that like,
everyone's really excited.
There's no way to make it perfect. And so you just kind of have to enjoy that 150 people are going to come party with you.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
For the part where we're like, and these are the bathrooms. We brought them in for this.
It's like a trailer thing that they like park, and it's like, have you seen this? It's like, it just has wheels on
it. Like
back.
festivals, you know?
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. So expensive.
Everyone has high expectations for the wine.
Okay.
As you might imagine.
Well, for those viewing who don't know who I am, I work as a sommelier. I never wanted to get married at a vineyard. We're getting married at a vineyard. It turns out that that's just, they're set up for it. They have the space, they have the tables. And so like all the other venues that we looked at were just so lame and like commercial. It's like hotel ballrooms and stuff. Like, that is so uninspired.
Yeah.
And then we found this gorgeous winery outside of the cute little gay town of Guerneville, next to a bunch of very prestigious wineries in Sonoma. It's called Harper's Rest. their wine is delightful. I do really like it. And here's the thing with when you get married at a vineyard is you almost always have to carry their wine. So I didn't have any say in what the wine selection is, other than I picked out which of their wines we would have. But I do like their wines.
There you go.
And every time we go visit the venue, I buy a bottle of wine because I'm like, oh, it's nice. But it's not like, oh my God, the best wine I've ever had in my life. But I do,
Sure.
I will say I like it and it's nice. So I didn't really have any say. And then same thing is true of the welcome party, is that it's at a wine bar. And so they're kind of letting me pick out cool, nerdy stuff because they know my bosses.
Okay.
And so it's a small wine industry world. And so
Yeah.
there should be nice wine at that. But again, it's kind of out of my
It's
control.
just your brand. And so it's just nice to be recognized as someone who likes nice wine. Yeah, there you go.
Not true.
There you go.
Yeah, but I also kind of love that it's not Michael's selections, you know, like it's, I kind of like that. It's not like a measure of my character or wine knowledge, what wine is being served at this welcome party right now. Like,
yeah,
it's not about that. And I also don't want to make it about that. It's not about wine.
What do you want it to be about?
David and Michael getting married. And also, like, I think a really important part of weddings is, and just relationships in general, is community building. So like David's family meeting my family, and like David's friends meeting the friends that he hasn't met of mine, and vice versa. And like having those people, or people that have met a few times but haven't really seen each other in a long time, getting back together again. So I'm really excited for that, especially because a lot of my people are East Coast and all of his people are West Coast. So bringing the people together.
I'm excited for like the surprise, like, oh, I know this person. I can't believe you're here. How have we been friends for this long? And we never connected, that we each know Michael or we each know David. I mean, I'm excited for this because like the queer community isn't that large, you know? No. So that'll be really fun. I think it'll be really fun if, like, because a lot of your friends are very gay, very out.
Yes.
And I'm interested in meeting like David's half. You know what I mean? So I'm like, is anyone going to out one of David's cousins?
To my knowledge, David has very few male identifying cousins coming, and I would be amazed if somebody got outed. And also, I came out at 14, so all of my friends are gay.
Yeah.
David came out in his 20s and went to college, unlike I did, and like, so he just has his friend group, to credit him, is very diverse in terms of gender expression, sexuality, like they're just a very much more diverse group than mine is. Mine's a lot of gay men.
Yeah.
And like dancers, you know, like,
who like
like ballerinas who can drink any singular person under the table at this wedding.
It's going to be really fun. Everyone's very excited. As we're going through this process, as we're getting ready for your wedding, one of the questions that I've been mulling over is like, how weird is it that we've got people thinking we don't have the right to do this, that we don't have the right to plan for these vineyard meetings, vineyard weddings, plan for the bathrooms being hauled in from God knows where. Like, this is so inoffensive compared to, you know, our past behavior, which was sometimes deliberately offensive.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
menace to society.
absolute menaces.
Destroying the communities.
Correct.
Yes,
we were
so
what was
real.
wrong with the community.
It's so real. Like okay, just thinking of like who we are as people now, and like the content of our character. Like, we contribute so much to society right now. Like, we really do give to our communities. We work in the arts. Like, we try to like foster growth in our town. Both of us, I'm talking like you and me and David, we all just really care a lot about the greater good, I feel. And it's so funny to me every time I hear like discourse around gay marriage, because it's like, I don't think about you. I,
Correct.
like, I don't think about what you are doing in your small conservative life. I don't, I really am not worried about what your marriage looks like or
Yeah.
the values that you hold yourself to. It's not something that I think about. It does not take up space in my brain, nor do I want to. And so
But
I
we have
just, every time I like people have opinions about my life, I'm always like, it's just, I don't know you, nor do I care to.
I completely agree with you. I um I make the choice to keep an eye on them. Because so many of us in our community are so like almost like hell-bent on partying. We're going to master the art of debauchery, you know, um, and at the expense of paying attention to what's happening in the world around us, where some of these very conservative people, very small conservative people, are like getting on planes and going to Africa and like lobbying governments to outlaw our right to hall bathrooms to vineyards and like get married. And so I'm excited to check in with you in a number of years after you are married to see like how you feel about the fact that people are like 100% out to get you. You know what I mean? Like out to take away something that you've achieved, as opposed to right now when you're on the cusp of like signing the document and having like the legal right or uh, exercising the legal right. I'm excited to see if you're like, who the fuck's trying to who's trying to take my right away? Who's trying to force me into a divorce with this man?
I know the whole thing is just so preposterous.
It is. But you're such a
And I
fighter
think
that
it,
I'm just really excited.
stop. I will get loud.
You,
Like I think at heart I am not like a mean person, but I am from Atlanta, and like let's go. Let's go.
yeah,
You want to fight? Let's go. Like I will meet you halfway there. But you have to start it, and I will not be the one that instigates something. Um yeah, which brings me to my point, which is that like I think when I think of people, I'm going to tell the Obergefell v. Hodges story. So Jim
okay,
Obergefell and his husband got diagnosed with like a degenerative medical issue, and so he had a limited time to live. They weren't married. Marriage was not legal in Ohio at the time where they lived. They they chartered a plane with a nurse on the plane because his husband had degraded that much, flew to Delaware, I believe, and got married on the tarmac there. And then they flew back to Ohio so that when his husband started to be bedridden in a hospital, Jim could still visit in the
mm,
hospital and be with his husband when he dies. And retroactively, the state of Ohio nullified their marriage license and said it wasn't valid because the state of Ohio doesn't have gay marriage.
yeah,
And then like tried to have like legal action against Joe Bergfeld. This is why I went to the Supreme Court case, so that like a marriage in any state is recognized in every state is really what that ruling established. But here's my point: is that the Ohio government or someone petitioned the government of Ohio to go single out a person. And at this point, his husband was already dead.
yeah,
His was gone. So like, what are you getting out of this other than to be a bad person? Like it really says a lot about your character that you are going to find someone who is not worried about your life, and you're going to put yourself into their life and make it actively worse for whatever reason that you feel justified to do so.
yeah,
And so that's how I feel about all this, is like attack on anybody's rights, is that like nobody attacks someone's rights out of thinking that they're helping them. And I don't think a single person that attacks gay marriage thinks that they're helping gay people.
oh, no,
They're actively doing it because they feel like it is us versus them, and that we need to be eradicated from
yeah,
society. almost in a genocidal sense. And so like that's how I view those sentiments, is that like you are a bad person.
Absolutely. One thing that brings me hope. I've been doing so. I started doing the podcast again because of all the political stuff that was happening in Minneapolis and Minnesota, and I was like, okay, let me make sure it's not always like me cracking knuckles at people. Let me sprinkle in the good stuff.
Hey, the last time I was here, I talked about wine.
That's correct. Oh, and Brendan was here, as a matter of fact. But one thing that gives me hope is that like there was a gym available, resourced enough to do what he needed to do for his love, and that like scaled this right to all of us. And now there are so many of us, little gems, potential gems, you know, that we have each other's back. Because I think we're gotten to the point where there's a real community of like husbands who are willing to do just about anything for each other and to protect other people, you know, to protect Michael and David, to protect Jerome and Aaron, you know, even if we haven't met each other. Like, if I knew at this point in my life with the resources that I have that Jim was going through this business, then I'd be like, oh yeah, we got to help him with his legal fees, because that impacts us, you know. But he didn't have that. Mm-hmm. And in this antagonistic government that we're dealing with now, it helps me sleep at night knowing that there's a collective available to assist if people know how to call for help.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to have your back in that same way in a little, like 6 weeks.
Particularly where I live in San Francisco, like most of the couples that I know are older men who are married. There's a lot of examples of gay marriage because I live in a very gay city. And so like it's hard, and I also have witnessed the San Francisco community like rise up for anyone's attack of rights, you know? So like we are ready for that fight. I think our politicians that we elect are ready for that fight in formal settings. And so I don't want to say hopeful because I'm a little not hopeful lately, but I know that we are ready to do what needs to be done to enshrine our rights. There are a lot of people.
I think we'll do dramatic things. I think we do crazy things. I think like even like white cisgender history is full of men doing crazy things in the name of love. Like that is like a straight up historic fact. So now, you know, I'm like, wait, I'm a man. It's almost like giving me license to be dramatic, you know?
I love you reclaiming masculinity in this way. Like, you know what? If Napoleon can do it, I can do it. Yeah, it's not a bad sentiment.
There you go.
Interesting.
When that helps you sleep, I hope you have really cool, triumphant dreams.
Yesterday in Dolores Park, this is a very tangential story. Sure. It was Hunky Jesus in San Francisco, which is a big deal. It's like 10,000 people show up to elect the next Hunky Jesus of the year.
Oh, it's democratic. Okay.
And the whole city shows up. It's a big deal. And we were there, we're hanging out. I have lived in the neighborhood for 10 years now, right? So like I was walking up and I was talking to this guy, and these two girls that were seated on a park blanket looked at me and they're like, oh, look, another heterosexual white man. And I've never been more offended in my life. And mind you, I was wearing a pink shirt with multiple strings of pearls and like bunny ears. And I'm like, honey.
Not gay enough.
Like, what? How dare you call me heterosexual?
Are you sure they were talking about you?
Yes, because to my previous point, let's go. So then I was like, who are you calling straight?
I'm shocked. I have never confused you with someone who is straight. So I'm
Sometimes it happens
surprised.
and I just don't understand it. I've fully gone full circle in like my like queer journey, which was like, I hope nobody
Yeah.
thinks I'm gay, to like coming out and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gay. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
how dare you insinuate that I am not a queer person? Like I
Well, speaking of conflicts, then, because I feel like we really did go from like how you met, first date to engagement, right?
mhm.
But in between there, you mentioned that David had kind of like helped you like realign your way of thinking and maybe some philosophies and what have you. Like you now know the three branches of government when you did not before. Was that always like a smooth process, or was it disruptive? Were there like tumultuous times? Because if you're like ready to go, you know what I mean? Like he must be ready to converse to he's ready to give you a few minutes to cool off and tell you to take 10 deep breaths.
Huh. Um, yeah, I don't know how to answer that. A sentiment that comes to mind, which is something I've learned, which is that like you can't change people, and people can change themselves, but it's very difficult to change yourself, and you have to really want to do so. And so I think some people, and myself included, we get into relationships and we look at people and we're like, oh, they're so great. They're perfect. This one thing about them I don't like, but I can work on that. Like in that, oh, I'll just fix that aspect of that person. And that's just not how people
No.
work at all. And it took me a long time to realize that as well. And so, less than like us course correcting, it's more learning how to like coexist around people and to like empathetically and genuinely want to understand where they're coming from, why they feel a certain way about something, and then learning how you fit around that and finding ways to like symbiotically coexist. That I think is like the biggest thing that I've had to learn in a relationship is you've done something that is a grievance against me. Like, we don't, in our relationship at least, don't do anything malicious towards each other. So if something has offended you, it didn't come from any sort of ill intent. So then it's understanding the other person more. Um, that's, I think, a big thing. Ooh, that being said,
Mm.
um, it's also learning more in the process. So we, like I mentioned earlier, come from very different backgrounds. He was on a much more traditional career track and education track, and I was working in dance and wine full time. And although I am about to graduate from college soon, which is cool, yeah, I finally did it. And
Yeah.
so, like him understanding, what it's like to work full time as an artist, as a dancer, is different than what it's like to work in an office 40 hours a week. And what it's like to work in a restaurant, Pike, what it's like to work like in a restaurant for like, until 2 in the morning. And like, we have different social batteries that I'm using mine at work and he's not using his is recharging when he's at work. And so like, that dynamic was always kind of hard, is that like every day at work I'm being extremely social. I'm usually hosting some sort of thing. I'm talking a lot and he is usually not talking a lot. He's like working on a computer and needs that at the end of the day to like talk to someone, to connect to a human being. And I want the opposite. I've been talking to people all day. Let's be quiet. Let's sit here quietly. Dear God. That was all, and it still is a struggle for us sometimes. But it's gotten better,
Oh, that's
definitely.
good.
And
Yeah,
I
you
don't think
you
that there's been anything that's like he wants me to do this and I don't want to do that. Like,
even the
as
way you kind of describe this symbiotic relationship sounds very organic. It sounds like it started in one place and it grew and matured and became this like wonderful thing that you have between each other. It doesn't sound like a rubric, you know. It's not like, well, he had 3 strikes and he just never used them all, and so now we're getting married.
It's funny because like he can be very analytical like that, and I can too. Is that like it can be easy to try, and this is where I always fall. Is that like trying to put people into your preconceived notions or your rubrics or your like you've done this 3 times in the last month like that. Okay, well I wanted to do it 3 times. Like it, it again. It's like it's much more productive if you try to understand why things happen versus not just like evaluate what has happened and how it fits into what you wanted or thought would happen. So like if you trust that your partner is doing nothing but right towards you, then if you assume the best of them, then you can understand their actions a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm not saying I do that all the time.
I agree with. Well, I think that you could still approach, you know, what your partner was doing with the same vibe. Like, hey, bitch, what are we doing? I know you love me,
It's a
but this
little
is
late.
really dumb.
Sometimes I want to be, you know, like the evil villain in the spinny chair that like, like, well. I want that moment so bad sometimes.
I think I've seen you as Cruella de Vil before, so you have been very close to that.
Many Halloweens now.
Yeah.
Classic.
Oh, what it feels like when you're describing the way that you're navigating, it sounds like the way you navigate conflict, maybe more so than the way that you like ended up changing yourself over the course of like nearly a decade with this person. Is that you seem really well prepared for married life, even ahead of being married. So it's not like you get married and then learn how to be married. You know, you're like, oh yeah, like we're basically already husbands, and now we have to sign a paper.
I mean, this to me, that's such like a straight person sentiment to like get married and then figure out other things after the fact is wild to me. Like, but I understand that they maybe have the pressures of having children and things that I do not have. But I see it all the time is that people get married after not super really having done the work. And like 10 years does not feel like we waited to get married. It felt like we were still exploring each other, and we still are, and I would hope we continue to do so. I think, yeah, learning on the job with a relationship, even though it requires that, I think once you've added like legal stuff in there is a recipe for disaster.
Agreed.
And also, like, do you see like in queer relationships, like the people that I know that have gotten married usually do not do so without years and years and years of vetting that person. Like,
yeah.
But I see straight people getting married after like a year of dating.
Like people get married like out of high school. People just
what?
Yeah,
I've only slept with one person,
or no people.
Like zero. Yes, and I think also like
as a virtue.
Yes,
absolutely not.
Having conversations around sex and sex life and like what your aspirations or what you want out of that to be healthy. Like a lot of people don't talk about it. Straight people in particular, because I think it's taboo in their culture to talk about anything other than like a nuclear family arrangement. And yeah, it just,
that is
I don't know. Yeah. It is unfortunate. I think you just gotta unfortunately have uncomfortable conversations a lot.
It is nice that we are able to divorce the idea of marriage from its religious overtones. Even like you're going to a gay marriage, I'm not really expecting to see a priest or a pastor, you know, like
No.
you tell me about gay husbands. Okay, well, I know there's a whole different complex behind them. Like, they could be, are they closed? Are they open? Finances together, finances separate. Adopting, surrogate. Like, like none would really not love to not have poly.
Yeah. All of it. This is
Yeah,
San
yeah,
Francisco.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You get to ask a lot of questions. Um,
Yes.
yeah, and it's just wonderful that people can find each other or their groups or what have you, and like learn about each other and love each other, or just want to do the paperwork. I don't know their business, but have successful relationships with each other through these wild times.
Just be happy. I think at
Just
the
be
end of the day, everyone's looking
happy.
for happiness. And if you can do that with someone else and maybe perhaps amplify each other's happiness, then that's the dream.
Yeah, and if you can do it
I'm
alone,
trying to do.
more power to you.
Also valid, you know,
Yeah.
like I don't think being in a relationship makes you inherently better or worse, you know?
Aaron
I've
is so
certainly learned a
morbid.
lot.
How
Oh,
morbid is he? Aaron is so morbid. When
how morbid is
he's
he?
like, when I die,
Sure.
what are you gonna do? I'm like, girl, if something happens to you, something happens to us, and then I'm like, I'm gonna have to be a whole new person. I have absolutely no idea. I don't want to think about it. I'm not interested in it. Um, I probably won't survive another Minnesota winter. I probably have to go somewhere warm.
I like how your first thing is that, well, I'm leaving
Well,
Minnesota.
I'm moving. The summers are lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. Baby, come to San Francisco. It is 68 degrees year round.
I could judge the Hunky Jesus contest.
You could participate.
Oh, fun! But I do think it's like a unique thing that each couple has. And so when he's being a weirdo, like your
Yeah.
husband, who is also weird, and say, like, how is what we have going to continue if something happens? I'm like, this is it. You better enjoy every day that you have in your relationship with this person, because
Yeah.
what you have is unique and special and precious.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I am now, like, I don't know what's going to happen if. Here's how I feel. Like, I would be devastated. I think, okay, I'm going to separate, like, my emotional response to, like, death and, like, just talk about, like, logistical things.
You're analytical now. Okay.
I am. I'm dating David. I would probably leave San Francisco for the same reasons that you would leave Minnesota. Is that, like, every memory that we have is together in this city. Every friend that we have is our friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be really tough to be in San Francisco without him. Yeah, and then, like, in terms of, like, I'm gonna be out on the streets, like, I don't know. I've worked too hard as a single
that
starving
Tinder
artist
profile
to,
is deactivated.
no, I will take 5 jobs on and I'll be just fine. But
Yeah.
I think I don't want that for myself, and I also
No.
don't want David to die.
No.
And, like, maybe similarly, like, if I die, it's not like I'm, like, changing his. Again, like, emotionally aside, would he stay in California? Yeah, he would.
Girl, if something happens to you, David is going to need so much love and support. He's going to
visit David from time to
just
time.
like a wrecked human being.
You guys got to visit him, okay?
We're gonna
take him on little trips. Like, his nephews, for example, I have known them their entire life. I've known his sister since before she was pregnant. And so they are just as much my nephews as they are David's.
Yeah.
And I am just as much their uncle to them, you know? So, like, if David passed, then, like, I would still be their uncle.
Absolutely.
That wouldn't have changed. There's things like that where it's like, well, in some ways, nothing would change, you know?
Yeah. There are things we don't like to think about. And some points they aren't even necessary to think about. Um, but they're at the very least interesting when we think about like the impact that our relationship has on others and their whole lives and how they've lived and how it will eventually end. Uh, except for David, who is likely a 10,000-year-old demon. May he
Yeah,
live
he'll
another
never die.
10,000 years. Yes. May we
I
continue
do
to
hope he
age as we
outlives
have
me.
aged. Say again.
I hope he outlives me. I hope, like, yeah, I don't want to be the one left. I mean, not anytime soon, but like not too long either. You
You're
know, like
very young. Just enjoy every minute. Um, Aaron's one request is that I just go ahead and bury him with the dog. He just he just wants to cuddle the dog if anything happens. And
what
I'm
if
like, great, because I can't take care of a dog while
what
grieving.
if Pike
So,
isn't dead yet?
well, I'm just kidding. I would never put that on the internet.
This Egyptian shit. And then a harem of cats for the afterlife.
Total spinster.
Bury me with my fish. My fish tank. It's just me and the guppies.
Babe, thank you for popping on to talk about love, life, and death and wine.
You know what's so funny? Did you ever think that you and I would be talking about relationships as if we're experts in relationships? You and me.
I mean, I think it says more about the world around us than anything.
Yeah.
They should get it together.
We got it all figured out.
We managed to to be happy. That's what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
I
still
hope
friends.
I hope everyone out there manages to be happy too.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. It's good to see you.
Michael's like, good luck, bitches.
Good luck. I found happiness. I took my piece of the pie.
Well, thank you for popping on. I'm excited for the wedding.
I'll see you in like 6 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.